Hi, my name is Maricela from the Center for Healthy Communities, and for today's nutrition lesson, I will be going over the grains group and all that it includes, as well as portion control and sizes for each food group in my plate. So stick around. Thanks.
Let's talk about the grains group. What foods are in the grains group? Any food made from wheat, rice, oats, cornmeal, barley, or any other cereal grain is a grain product. Bread, pasta, breakfast cereals, grits, and tortillas are all examples of grain products. Foods such as popcorn, rice, and oatmeal are also included in the grains group. And when it comes to the amount of grain foods you need to eat daily depends on your age, sex, and level of physical activity. The amount each person needs can vary between 3 and 8 ounce equivalents each day. Remember, at least half of the grains you eat should be whole grains. Those who are very physically active may need more. For clarification, what counts as an ounce equivalent of grains? In general, that would be 1 slice of bread, 1 cup of ready to eat cereal, or half a cup of cooked rice, cooked pasta, or cooked cereal can be considered as 1 ounce equivalent from the grains group. Grains are divided into two subgroups, whole grains and refined grains. Now you may be asking yourself, what's the difference between whole grains and refined grains? As you can see from the diagram on the slide, whole grains contain the entire grain kernel, the bran, germ, and endosperm. The bran is the fiber-rich outer layer that helps with digestion and supplies B vitamins. The germ is the core of the seed where growth occurs. It is rich in healthy fats, vitamin E, B vitamins, and antioxidants. The endosperm is the interior layer that provides carbohydrates for energy, protein to help build and repair tissue, and iron to help blood transport oxygen throughout the body. Examples of whole grains include whole wheat flour, oatmeal, whole cornmeal, and brown rice. Refined grains have been milled, a process that removes the bran and germ. This is done to give grains a finer texture and improve their shelf life, but it also removes dietary fiber, iron, and many B vitamins. Some examples of refined grain products are white flour, degermed cornmeal, white bread, and white rice. Most refined grains are enriched. This means certain B vitamins, such as thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, folic acid, and iron, are added back after processing. However, fiber is not added back to enriched grains. It's best to check the ingredients list on refined grain products to make sure that the word enriched is included in the grain name. Some food products can also be made from mixtures of whole grains and refined grains. And in order to find out if grain products like cereal, pasta, and rice are in fact a whole grain rather than a refined grain, be sure that the food package says 100% whole grain or 100% whole wheat. Food labels with the word multigrain, stone ground, 100% wheat, cracked wheat, 7 grain, or bran are usually not whole grain products. Color is also not an indication of a whole grain. Bread can be brown because of molasses or other ingredients. Read the ingredients list to see if it is a whole grain. Why is it so important to eat your grains? Eating grains, especially whole grains, provides health benefits. People who eat whole grains as part of a healthy diet have a reduced risk of some chronic diseases. Grains provide many nutrients that are vital for the health and maintenance of our bodies. Grains are important sources of many nutrients, including dietary fiber, several B vitamins such as thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, and folate, and minerals such as iron, magnesium, and selenium. Dietary fiber from whole grains or other foods may help reduce blood cholesterol levels, and may lower risk of heart disease, obesity, and type 2 diabetes. Fiber is also important for proper bowel function. Fiber-containing foods, such as whole grains, help provide a feeling of fullness with fewer calories. The B vitamins, thiamine, riboflavin, and niacin, play a key role in metabolism. They help the body release energy from protein, fat, and carbohydrates. B vitamins are also essential for a healthy nervous system. Many refined grains are enriched with these B vitamins. Folate, also known as folic acid, which is another B vitamin, helps the body form red blood cells. Iron is used to carry oxygen in the blood. Whole grains are sources of magnesium and selenium. Magnesium is a mineral used in building bones and releasing energy from muscles. Selenium protects cells from oxidation. It is also important for a healthy immune system. Make half your grains whole grains. Here are some tips to get you started. Number 1. To eat more whole grains, substitute a whole grain product for a refined product, such as eating whole wheat bread instead of white bread or brown rice instead of white rice. It's important that you substitute the whole grain product for a refined product rather than adding the whole grain product. Number 2. For a change, try brown rice or whole wheat pasta. Try brown rice stuffing in baked green peppers or tomatoes and whole wheat macaroni and cheese. Number 3. Use whole grains in mixed dishes, such as barley and vegetable soup or stews and bulgur wheat in a casserole or stir fry. Number 4. Experiment by substituting whole wheat or oat flour for up to half of the flour needed in your pancakes, waffles, muffins, or other flour-based recipes. Number 5. Try rolled oats or a crushed unsweetened whole grain cereal as breading for baked chicken, fish, or eggplant parmesan. For some snack ideas, try snacking on ready-to-eat whole grain cereals, such as toasted oat cereal. Adding whole grain flour or oatmeal when making cookies or other baked treats. Eating 100% whole grain snack crackers. Popcorn, which is a whole grain and can be a healthy snack if made with little or no added salt and butter. What other snack ideas do you think you can try at home that include whole grains? The amount of food you eat is one of the most important parts of building a healthy eating style. Calories, for instance, are a measurement tool like inches or cups that can be used to measure the energy a food or beverage provides from the carbohydrate, fat, and protein it contains. Calories give you the fuel or energy you need to work and play, even to rest and sleep. When choosing what to eat and drink, it's important to get the right mix. Enough nutrients without too many calories. That's the goal. And it's important to note that choosing smaller portions can help you stay within your calories needs. Be aware of the amount of what you eat and drink during meals and snacks. Some commonly eaten foods can provide more calories than we realize. You can cut down on calories by choosing a smaller portion. Now you may be wondering, what is the difference between a serving size and a portion size? Is there even a difference? The answer is yes. A serving is a specific amount of food or drink. It is defined by a common measurement, such as cups, ounces, or tablespoons. My Plate provides the serving sizes information. The nutrition facts label on food packages also provides these serving sizes. It's important to utilize this information to build a healthy eating plate. A portion is the amount of food that happens to end up on the plate. Think of portion size as the actual amount of food we choose to eat at breakfast, lunch, dinner, or as a snack. Portions may be larger or smaller than the recommended serving sizes. If a portion is larger than the recommended serving size, you may be consuming more than the necessary, thus increasing your chances of gaining weight. So it's best to always try making your portion sizes equal to My Plate's recommended serving size. When it comes to portion sizes, give yourself a visual. What does 1/2 cup of pasta look like? What about 3 ounces of chicken or 2 tablespoons of peanut butter? Well, let me tell you, if you take a look at the chart on the PowerPoint slide, you'll be able to see the type of food, the proper portion size, and a comparable visual of how that portion size should look like for some foods. Let's go through the list together. First, we have bread with a recommended portion size of 1 ounce or 1 regular slice, which should visually be about the size of a DVD cover. Hopefully, most of us still remember what that looks like. Next, we have dry cereal with a portion size of 1 ounce or 1 cup, which should be about the size of a baseball. Oatmeal, rice, or pasta has a portion size of 1 ounce or 1/2 cup, so about the size of 1/2 a baseball. Oranges, apples, and pears should be the size of 1 small fruit or a tennis ball. Raisins have a portion size of 1/4 cup, which is about the size of a golf ball. Vegetables, either chopped or in salad form, should be 1 cup, which is about the size of a baseball. Fat-free or low-fat milk or yogurt has a portion size of 1 cup and is also about the size of a baseball. Cheese has a recommended portion size of 1.5 to 2 ounces, which is about the size of a 9-volt battery. Lean beef or poultry has a portion size of 3 ounces and is about the size of a deck of cards. Grilled or baked fish also has a portion size of 3 ounces, which is about the size of a checkbook. If you're not sure what that is or what that looks like, it's basically the size of an iPhone, slender but rectangular. Remember to listen to your body. Listen to your internal hunger and fullness cues. Are you really hungry or just bored? Seek to find the difference. When we listen to our bodies, we are less likely to overeat. It is okay to stop eating when you feel full, or even if there is food left on your plate. That just means there will be more left for later or tomorrow. Leftovers aren't a bad thing to have.
Hello all, we're cooking eggs today, and as discussed before in other lessons, it's important that we wash our hands after cracking eggs to avoid spreading germs from the raw eggs. Now, when we're cooking some dishes that call for eggs that are runny or raw, like used in sauces or over easy eggs, you'll want to follow the recipe instructions carefully because there is a potential risk of getting sick if you're not careful. Now, for other egg dishes like baked eggs or scrambled or fried, for those you'll want to make sure that the eggs are cooked thoroughly, that they're moist but not wet. Now, eggs are a very important ingredient in baked goods. It gives your dish structure and moisture, and it sometimes even acts as a glue or a thickener. We have some baking recipes today, and for most recipes, it will call for you to grease a pan. To do so, thoroughly wipe your pan with oil or butter, or you can use an oil spray. Parchment paper or paper muffin cups is also an option for your baked goods to not stick to your pan, but check your recipe first to see what is needed. If you're making a cake, after greasing your pan, you'll want to add a little flour, shake it around the pan until it is a thin layer, then shake out any excess. Now, when you're making individual sized baked goods such as muffins or cookies, it's important that you shape them into uniform sizes so that they cook evenly. You don't want some items that are underdone and some overcooked in your batch. As we've talked about before, it's important to use a timer and check your baked goods before the time is up to see if they're ready. For most baked goods, unless otherwise stated, we are looking for a golden brown color items are done. Before it's golden, you'll usually be undercooked, and dark brown usually means it's overcooked and on the way to being burnt. Another way to check baked items is to stick a toothpick in the center and see if it's wet. You want the toothpick to come out clean, but if it's still wet in the middle but golden brown on the outside, then something went wrong in the recipe. Check back on the instructions and see what may have happened. After cooling, cut into your baked item and see if it's moist, not wet and not dry. Remember, practice is essential. We're not going to make perfect baked goods each time. Just experiment and learn. Also, always use your oven mitts.
Hi everyone, welcome back. This is the hearty egg burrito. So I'm going to go ahead and make that initial cut into the bell pepper so that way you can remove the seeds on the inside. I'm only going to be making half the recipe here, so I am going to use a little bit less bell pepper than you. I'm going to make another slice halfway so that way it's easier and safer for me to chop. I'm going to flatten the bell pepper by pushing down on my palm onto the bell pepper with my body weight. From here, let's go ahead and start slicing. Remember to keep your nails tucked in and keep a rocking motion with your knife. Okay, and next I'm going to go ahead and just chop it a little bit smaller. I'm going to keep the bell pepper larger because I do like the taste, but you can make it smaller if you like. I think this is more of your preference of how small you'd like to dice your bell pepper. I'm going to use as much as possible of this bell pepper, so I'm just going to cut around the stem. Remember to have a full grip of the handle on the knife to have more control. And keep that rocking motion when you're making your cut. Now, during this process, I was heating the pan on the stove top. Now that it is warm, I'm going to add the oil, and then I'm going to wait a little bit to add the bell pepper, beans, and garlic.
Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. To save time, you can always pre-make your hearty egg burritos, then wrap them in foil and store them in the freezer so that they're ready to go and warm up in the morning.
I added about half a cup of the black beans. The black beans are not canned. I only had dry beans. And then next we're going to go ahead and add the clove garlic. You can go ahead and remove the skin by mashing it like this in the video, and it just makes it a lot smoother to remove the outside. I'm just going to cut the end off, and from here I'm going to mince. So remember to keep your nails tucked in. You can also mince your garlic by having your hand on top of the knife so that you don't have too much close contact with the sharp end. And I'm just going to add this into the pan. So with my beans, I know I'm not using canned, but I had seasoned them last night in the crock pot, so I'm not adding the cumin that was called for in this recipe. I find that using dry beans can save me money, and because I do use it quite often, and it's just easy to have on hand, just to make sure that I have it all the time for those last minute recipes. And they're just easy to store in an airtight container and keep it in the refrigerator up to about a week, so I do include it in a lot of my meals. So on the pan, we're just going to continue to mix the beans and the bell pepper and garlic and just get them warm enough so that way we can remove them and add the eggs. When you are mixing everything together, just make sure you have a full grip the handle of your pan, so that way it doesn't move around on your stovetop, and it's just much safer that way also. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and pull these aside and put them into like a bowl or plate, just somewhere temporary, so that way we can make the scrambled eggs next. I'm going to use the same pan. You are going to see that my eggs turned a little bit black from the black beans, but that's okay, it's still going to taste good. So I'm adding a little bit of oil so the eggs don't stick too much to the pan. I'm going to heat that up. And next we're going to go ahead and crack our eggs. Remember that with cracking eggs, you want to give it a good hard tap on a solid surface, but not hard enough to where it will break apart right then and there. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to the warm pan. And I'm going to crack the next egg as well before I wash my hands. Okay, so now that I have both my eggs on my pan, I'm going to go ahead and wash my hands so that way I don't touch anything with raw egg. Once I'm done washing my hands, I'm going to go ahead and start mixing the eggs around so we can just get a good scramble on it. You can also break the eggs into a bowl and whisk it to add a more fluffier texture to your eggs, or you can just do it on the pan like I did here. At the same time as I'm doing this, I have a cast iron skillet that is heating up to put my whole wheat tortilla on. You can also use the microwave to heat your tortilla if you'd like, to make it a little bit faster. Okay, I'm just gonna continue mixing my eggs until they are done. You can add other seasonings to this recipe as well if you'd like. My black beans, like I mentioned earlier, are already seasoned from the crock pot. I added some chili powder, cumin, salt, pepper, and a few garlic cloves to it to give it a little bit of flavor. So this is just about done.
Along with adding different types of seasonings, you can also experiment with different toppings. Maybe Greek yogurt, a green salsa, or even fresh tomatoes.
Now I'm gonna add the beans and bell pepper and garlic that we already heated on the pan to my tortilla. I know you can't see it in the video, looks like it's being cut off, but now I'm also adding the eggs to it. I'm also gonna add a little bit of fresh cilantro too, and I'm going to actually rinse the herbs off before I add it to my burrito. It's just going to add a little bit of freshness to it with a little bit of flavor. You don't have to add it if you don't want to, but it is something that I have on hand and it pairs well with the beans. So this is just about at the end. I'm just adding everything to my tortilla. Don't forget to add your low-fat cheese. And that's it. This is your hearty egg burrito that will leave you satisfied.